Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Today, I ended up, I didn't get to everything on my planner. I didn't actually do dishes today. Everything is cleaned right now. There's no dirty dishes. Everything's rinsed. I just need to load up the dishwasher, which I didn't end up doing. And I also didn't edit or upload today, which I would have liked to have done. However, I got to a ton of other things today. My bedding on my bed, I just got all, like cleaned and refreshed and washed, and I ended up doing that. For today, I woke up pretty much, I took care of laundry kind of first thing this morning, and I realized I changed my sheets, I think, the other day, but I didn't change my pillowcases, and I didn't wash my comforter either. So I was like, I'm gonna go and do that, I did everything all at the same time this time instead, because I was like, well, maybe I can make it a little easier on myself, because like when I have to do laundry to wash my bedding, because 2 of my pillowcases are king size pillowcases, I don't have duplicates of, like I don't have I don't think anybody in the house actually has king size like pillowcases, and so when I wash those, to put them on my bed, I need to have those ones washed straight away. The same thing too with my comforter. I have the second comforter the dogs lay on at the foot of my bed, but I don't have like a second comforter to use on my bed. I do have duplicate sheets. I have 3 sets of sheets. I've got a couple other like standard size pillowcases. I at least have 2, like, so I can always switch them out. And I do have another body pillow. However, my other, like my U-shaped body pillow, I only have 1, like, of the one that is on there. So again, to make things easier on myself, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just try and like wash, just like the immediate stuff that need to be washed instead of all of it at the same time, and it didn't work out well because then I never changed the pillowcases. But today it took me longer than to wash everything that I needed washed, just because there was, I had to do like 3 loads of laundry to get everything done. Like my comforter was its own load, then I ended up doing a load of lights, which was like all of my sheets, and then and I did other people's stuff too in with it, and then also to a load of reds, which I had to wash like I said, the blanket, the comforter that I have at the foot of my bed for the dogs, and so that one I washed with all like pinks and reds and stuff like that, and I washed some of the other stuff in there as well, just because that didn't take up the whole amount of space. But anyways, so I ended up doing that. So I started on that this morning. Then I went out to the garden and I pulled out our spring onions, because they had just about started to, they're starting to bloom, and so I didn't want them to. I wanted to just pull them out and use them up, and so we didn't get like a really early like jump on the garden either this year. We didn't even like clear out the garden until just this weekend, and so there was still some stuff in there. Like I was telling you guys, I have chives that are in there. All of the spring onions were in there. We had horseradish that was left over from last year. There was thyme that came back. So again, there's a handful of things that ended up coming back, and one of those being the green onions. So I ended up chopping all those up. I had a little bit of help from Jack. I chopped them up so that I could dehydrate them, and I've already got them all dehydrated right in here, guys. So these are green onions. I ate probably about, now they were big green onions. They were probably about that big, some of them. They were not like the little green onions that you buy in the grocery store. Again, too, I didn't know really that they were out there, that they came back, and so, with all of the other stuff that was kind of like dead and or weeds that were coming in the garden, I didn't realize that they were out there. So like I said, lost track of them. They were a little larger, on the larger side, but they like I said, we ended up, I chopped them all up, and there was probably like maybe about 10 or so green onions. I just used the greens, cut those all up, threw them in the dehydrator. Mine actually, because I cut them up very small, I read what someone else had said they did theirs at was I want to say it was 125 in the dehydrator for 3 to 5 hours. Mine honestly looked like they were done after almost 2. I left them in for another hour after that. I think it was about 2 hours. Maybe it was 3 and I left them in for 4, but like I said, I want to say mine were done on the very, very early side. And like I said, I left them in a little bit longer. But like I said too, even though they were big, I cut them really small. So these are perfect for using for eggs, like, you know, you do like an egg bake or omelet, whatever, just to throw these in there and sort of reuse them. Again too, it's perfect because I don't buy green onions all that often, but a lot of times we do wind up using them, and just to have them on hand is really awesome. You know, like I was saying, for that kind of stuff, like for, you know, like eggs and whatever else we might need them for. Like we almost always have regular onions, but as far as like green onions, more for, again, like toppings kind of and things like that, we don't normally always have them. When we do is when I normally wind up cutting them up, and then I will use them, you know, for scraps. I'll regrow them and then put them in the garden. So that's what I did last year, and like I said, they came back again this year, and I, like I said, didn't get to them as early as I wanted to, but because there were so many of them, and like I said, they were getting close to blooming, I didn't want to just leave them, and I didn't want to pull them all out and then leave them in the fridge because we weren't going to use all of them at that time. And like I said, I just was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, oh, I can dehydrate them. So what you can also do with them too is if you dehydrate them down like this, which I was debating whether or not I wanted to, but I figured we have like onion powder, but you can make onion powder out of this. You can either do it as like green onion powder, or you can use the actual like more the bulb part, the more white part of the onion, and turn it into onion powder as well. But like I said, I just went with doing kind of like the whole pieces, and then we can just chop up, or you know, throw them in whatever we have, since they're already chopped up and now dehydrated. And again too, now they will last. They will have a very long shelf life, and I extended their, you know, usefulness versus, like I said, a couple days in the fridge, and trying to use them up as best as possible. So that's why I love that we have our dehydrator. I know that there's also lots of ways you can probably cook them in the oven at a very low temperature as well, but I'm not sure exactly, like I said, how long that would take. That's, again, a Pinterest thing to look up, but like I said, the way I did it was just, you know, and mine were done fairly quickly, but I just put them in a little canning jar, and like I said, we are going to, you know, have those now for use whenever we need to. And it was something that I paid, I think, maybe 50 cents at most for a bunch of onion last year. I chopped them maybe once last year, and like in the garden, and then this year, they, you know, they came back, and now I was like, you know what, let's just pull them out. We'll just chop them and use what we can and dehydrate what we can. And so everything in the kitchen is all cleaned up from that. Then, so I did that. Then I ended up making those freezer dinners from the chicken that my dad got at Tony's on, I don't remember what day he went, Friday, something like that. And so I ended up making 6 freezer dinners because I had 6 chicken breasts. I ended up doing 2 like red pasta chicken. I added some extra like zucchini that was actually chopped up frozen from last year's zucchini harvest, because I was like, oh yeah, that's still in the freezer, and I'd like to get some use out of it. So that's another thing too, you can always like hide like shredded zucchini. Or what I also did was I chopped up a bell pepper. I used half a bell pepper per bag, and then I ended up, like I said, throwing in a little bit of zucchini, and it's a good way to just get in a little extra vegetables kind of hidden in there, and nobody's ever going to know. So I did that. It's just like a red pasta with like chicken. And then I also ended up doing 2 bags of Alfredo pasta chicken with some fresh broccoli that we had that my dad also got at Tony's on Friday. And I also chopped up, what else did I add into that? I don't think I added anything else. I think it was just the broccoli, the chicken, and the Alfredo sauce, because we have a ton of pasta sauce in the pantry. So I was like, I really want to use this up. So I did that. And then also too, I ended up doing 2 bags of chili. I had chili seasoning in the pantry, so I ended up using that. I had chili beans in the pantry. I ended up using those. I also had chili ready, like what's it called, like the tomatoes, so I used that as well. Plus I also again snuck in a little extra vegetables. I used another full bell pepper, chopped it up. I used half in one bag, half in the other. I also chopped up just regular onions, added that to the chili and to the, maybe that's what I added to the other pasta, the red pasta sauce. And then I added some garlic to everything. I added like at least a heaping teaspoon of garlic to each bag as well. So it's kind of easy. I just, you know, I did all 6 kind of at the same time. I just added everything that I needed to. And then I got all those out to the freezer. And then while I was also doing that though, I was also baking birdseed because I had a bag of birdseed that we bought last year. Well, not last year, it was like I think in the fall, maybe winter, early winter, and I never ended up baking it. And so we bake it, our birdseed, at a really, really low temperature. I think it's like 250 maybe, for like a half an hour. And it keeps it from germinating, but it doesn't lose the nutritional value for the birds. So we just do it so that, again, too, I don't have, like, because especially the one in the front yard is very close to our flower bed. I don't want the seeds getting into the flower bed and then sprouting, and then I have more weeds I have to pull out of the flower bed. So that's why I like doing it. I've never had a problem, and so far from what I can tell, and the birds still enjoy it. So like I said, we've been doing that, and again, I haven't had any problems with it germinating. Like, it's been really good so far. And I've been doing this for probably at least 2 years now. I ended up doing that today as well. It took me a couple loads of like sheets of birdseed that I baked, and then ended up putting it in our big tote of birdseed that's outside. So tomorrow my goal though, because I actually had that in my planner, I actually set my planner out for today, so I wrote those 3 things in. The other thing I want to do tomorrow is I'm going to clean the bathroom, but I also would like to fill up all the bird feeders, because as of right now they're not filled. I haven't filled them recently, so they need to all be refilled. And since I just baked all that birdseed, now I can kind of do it with all the stuff that's the new stuff that's mixed in as well. So like I said, I got to that, but that's one of the things I want to get to tomorrow. I also set my planner out for today, or not for today, but just for the week. But like I said, the only thing I didn't really get to today was editing and uploading, and I washed everything too, like we just did leftovers because we had tons of leftovers from yesterday. So we did leftovers for dinner tonight, so I didn't cook anything. Tomorrow I'm gonna do, I had a bag of white chicken chili that was out in the freezer, so I'm going to do that for dinner, especially too since I just made 2 bags of new chili. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. Again, getting to some of the things that I wanted to today, a lot of like extra stuff, but then again too, I didn't get to all the things that I normally do, like editing and uploading. I didn't do that. And again too, I didn't really get to dishes, although I cleaned everything, like, because also too, like, we did the cinnamon rolls for breakfast yesterday. There was still a cinnamon roll left in there, and so then it didn't get cleaned with everything last night. So then today, I guess somebody ate the cinnamon roll because it was gone, and then I ended up washing like that. So everything is clean too, like all the counters, there's no dishes. I cleaned up everything too from like everything, like the kitchen was a mess today. Like I was doing 3 things at once. I had the dehydrator going, the oven going, was making the freezer dinners, you know, again, the birdseed was going in the oven. Like, it was a mess in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden it was just, I cleaned everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks nicer than like when it started this morning. Like, because I washed all the dishes, like I said, but I just need to load up the dishwasher tomorrow. But there's no like anything lingering around right now, so that's nice. But like I said, I still have a couple things at least that I want to do tomorrow, like extra stuff. My dad and Jack also worked on hanging hanging the insulation, because we had a couple rolls of insulation that were in the attic, so they did that today. And again too, we were just kind of like doing little like housekeeping kind of things, because the other thing too is that we want to get the gardens tilled, but I wanted to make sure my green onions were pulled out of there, and so that's why, like I said, I had to do that before we can get into the gardens and do that, because I didn't, you know, want to just pull the onions out and then leave them. I was like, let's do them on a day where I can, you know, get them dehydrated in the same time. And so so we're probably, hopefully, maybe tomorrow if it's not raining, maybe we can tilt the garden beds tomorrow, or my dad might work upstairs. Like, we have a lot of stuff that we have to get done right now, like all at the same time, and it's just crazy. So that's why, again, too, I'm just so happy with like how much extra sort of stuff I got done for today. Like, I spent a good 2+ hours at least in the kitchen, maybe 3 hours today in total, getting all that stuff done throughout the course of the whole day. But again, too, it was a lot. I'm very happy that I got to all of it. So anyways, though, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog and update you guys with everything else that's going on, all of the other, you know, like I said, fun things. But it's cool that we already got a garden harvest on something I wasn't even expecting to have this year in the green onions, and now we have them in the pantry. So anyways, though, like I said, I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see y'all very soon. Shiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.